All right, welcome into episode 06 of Gasser's Garage. I'm Steve Thornton. I'm a Birds fan. Sorry if this ridiculous hat is distracting throughout this video, but I know I do live in Arizona, but I grew up about 35 minutes outside of Philadelphia, so my fandom lies with the Birds, and I really hope that they can defeat the Chiefs in a week or in 9 days here at the Super Bowl. Didn't get a chance to make a video last week. I was doing a lot of things behind the scenes, helping a lot of guys, do some scheduling, some marketing, other stuff like that. So didn't quite have time to put a video out, but season's starting here in a couple days at Volusia. I wanted to get out my 10 bold predictions heading into the 2025 season. So I'm going to start with number 10 and then make my way down to number 1. The ones, here at the beginning might not be the craziest predictions in the world, but I think as they go on, they'll get a little bit more bold, and, some of these things you might not think are very realistic, but that's why they're bold predictions. And, I'm trying to, stray away from, what everyone thinks is going to happen heading into the 2025 season. So starting with number 10, and then that's just going to be Joe B. Miller. He's going to win the POWRi 410 championship in 2025. I think the POWRi series has 13 drivers of the 16 full-timers announced already at this moment. I would say Joe B., along with Ayrton Genitin and Noah Gass, are the favorites to win that championship. Genitin has won it the past 2 seasons, and Noah Gass has the experience with the Outlaws and did pick up 4 or 5 wins a season ago. But I'm taking Joe B. Miller because Joe B. Miller, I think he had his best 410 season in 2024. He picked up 5 wins. He was in the top 10 in 60% of his starts last year. And that's the consistency you need to win a championship like this. The POWRi schedule, I believe, is 37 races. So if Joe B., if he's running consistently inside the top 10 throughout most of those races, it's almost inevitable that he's going to pick up a couple wins. He's probably going to be on the podium a lot. And, I think that'll translate to him doing enough to win the title in 2025. Moving down to number 9, and, we're going up in IRA territory here with my guy, Blake Nemi, in the number 79. He is not going to be running the IRA schedule full time in 2025. And I'm still going to pick him to, lead all of the IRA drivers in wins this season. Just a season ago, Blake Nemi, he was in the top 5 in 50% of his IRA starts. And I believe he only made 20 winged 410 starts last season. And he was able to pick up, a couple wins. I believe he had 2 or 3 wins, and he has 7 career IRA wins, in the last, I want to say, 10 years. So Blake Nemi, he's not a guy that many people are probably too familiar with. He, only runs 20 to 30 races up in the Wisconsin area every year. But I am taking him to lead the, the IRA in wins. He has career wins at Wilmot, Plymouth, and Angel Park. Those tracks are all over the IRA schedule, and I think Blake, could win 3 to 5 races, and I think that would put him at the top amongst the current IRA full-time commitments. Number 8 is Logan Schuchart to get 6+ outlaw wins. And if I was making this prediction last year, it would probably sound really dumb because, he has done this multiple times in his career, but he had just 1 outlaw win a year ago. 4 wins overall. I believe he picked up a PA Speed Week win or 2, and then a couple of high limit win, and and only just 1 outlaw win. So prior to 2024, he won at least 5 outlaw races every single year since 2018. So originally I was going to say Schuchart with 5 wins, but I bumped it up to 6 to make it a little bit more bold. I think the Outlaws are going to be, it's going to be tough to get 6 wins, if you're not David Gravel, if you're not Carson Macedo, if you're not Buddy Kofoid. But, I do think Schuchart is going to turn things around and have a little bit of a better season than he did last year. He was just a little bit off. It didn't seem like he had the speed in time trials. He was falling behind the 8 ball, early in the night. and he was forced to have to recover in the A main a bunch. So that's not ideal. I think they will get things figured out, and I think you'll see Logan Schuchart, running up front, a lot more like we have in previous seasons. Number 7 is JJ Hickle to win 3+ races in 2025 in the 410 ranks. JJ had just released his schedule. He's running for the Huset's Track Championship, I believe. A lot of races around the Midwest, around Knoxville area. Starting up his own team. I believe he's got some help from the Blake Cook, who he was driving for last year a little bit. Them two are teaming up to make JJ Hickle Racing. He'll be number 63. And, 3+ wins might not sound like a bunch, but I don't believe that JJ Hickle has ever won 3 or more 410 races in a season. He's got a lot of 360 wins in his career. He was on the All-Star Tour 2 seasons ago in the Ceiling 97. He didn't fare very well in that car. I believe he picked up 2 local wins throughout the year, maybe one at Butler and one at Fremont. But Hickle has never won more than 3 races, and I think I think he's really spent a lot of time this offseason getting his program together, getting things right, and putting together a schedule that works for him. And, I think we're going to see some wins come from that. So 3+ wins for JJ Hickle in 2025. Number 6 is going to be Caleb Henry. Sorry, dry air out here. But number 6, Caleb Henry, 10+ wins in 2025. Caleb Henry, first season behind the Running Boxer Farms 101 a season ago. And he picked up 6 wins, was really impressive in Ohio, really impressive against, the Outlaws and High Limit on occasion. The one thing that does concern me here is that I believe that Henry is going to have a new crew chief. It seemed like he really gelled with Kevin Osmolsky last year. He's moving or stepping aside, and I believe that it's going to be Andy Potter on the wrenches. So, Andy Potter, ton of experience there. I'm not concerned about that. I'm just concerned about maybe early in the year, it might take a little bit of time for these two, to gel, to get used to each other. But I think with this car, with this team, with the current, landscape of the All-Stars, I think Caleb Henry, is probably the favorite to win the championship. Brandon Spithaler is definitely, right there with him at the top of guys who can really dominate this series, in my opinion. But I think the schedule fares nicely for Henry and this 101 team. I definitely think that he can win, 10 races. I didn't say he was going to win 10 All-Star races, but, 10 total wins for Caleb Henry in the 101. Moving down to number 5 and sticking with the 10+ win theme, but moving over to Brock Zearfoss. Really like the decision for Brock Zearfoss to drop off of the Outlaw Tour, put together a massive schedule, 100+ races, and he'll be in the Eichelberger number 8. He'll be in his own number 3Z. He'll be with Shuttlesworth on the wrenches, and I just really think that, Zearfoss could pick off wins at Williams Grove, pick off a couple wins at Port Royal, maybe a couple wins, at Lincoln, and maybe even a couple wins out on the road to total up a 10-win season for this team. We saw what they could do at BAPS at the end of the year during the last race of the season. Zearfoss dominated that race, and I really liked what I saw, and that gave me a lot of confidence to say that, that I think that Brock winning 10+ races is not out of the question at all. Number 4 is Cole Macedo, and I think he runs away with the World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year. A lot of people are talking about these Rookie of the Year battles in High Limit, in the World of Outlaws. I think that, Garrett Williamson could definitely be a guy that challenges Cole. I don't think we can rule out Hunter Schoenberg, but I just think that, Cole has improved drastically in the last year. Say what you want about him, say that he's wild or all this, but what I'm going to say is that I've watched Cole Macedo grow and change, a ton in just 1 year's time. Just 2 nights ago at Volusia, I watched Cole Macedo let off the gas instead of crashing. A couple years ago, he would have crashed that car, and he made the decision to be patient and then get by the guy the next lap. So I really like Cole Macedo. The 2C doesn't really concern me. We haven't really seen the full potential of that car in a 410. I think Cole will bring that out. He just never stopped racing. He has all the momentum on his side. He was really good in Australia, and he was really good on the West Coast last year in the Tarleton 21. And for all of those reasons, I think that Cole Macedo is going to be the best rookie, and I don't think it's going to be as close as some people think. So, number 3, DJ Neto is going to win the most races on the West Coast this year. I really liked what I saw out of DJ Neto last year. I think he returned to form. He won a couple races. He was one of the best California guys against the World of Outlaws and against the High Limit guys when they, made their West Coast swings. I believe he had 2 410 wins and a 360 win last year. And I just, we haven't seen the DJ Neto that we've seen, 4 or 5 years ago, who was aggressive, would drive the hell out of anything. It seemed like he really, paused, maybe was a little bit more hesitant after some crashes and some injuries that he went through. But I think last year he really, broke out of that box, and he was really good. He was actually, had 9 top 5s and only 28 starts. And, 11 of those starts were against High Limit World of Outlaws. So almost half his starts were against the National Touring Series in 410 competition, and he was still able to put up these really good numbers. So I think DJ Neto winning the most races on the West Coast next year is definitely a possibility. Moving on to number 2, and that is going to be that Aaron Reutzel is going to finish on the podium in the High Limit point standings. The one thing that concerns me about Reutzel is that, last year it kind of seemed like if he wasn't battling for the lead or inside the top 5, he was kind of nowhere to be found. And, if you do that on these national tours, you're really going to suffer in the point standings long term. But I think this team has potential to, be consistently in the top 5, in the top 10, battling for wins. And I do think that, that'll translate to him being in the top 3 in points. I think he'll probably, pick up 5, 6, 7 wins. That's definitely not out of the question. And, with James McFadden not being there, I think, in the tough off season that Rico has had, along with Brad Sweet, Tyler Courtney, I think Aaron Reutzel is the next guy that could be right there in these point standings. So Aaron Reutzel, top 3 in High Limit points. And my last one, my most bold prediction that I have is that Buddy Kofoid is gonna win the World of Outlaws title. And he very well could be the youngest World of Outlaws winner ever. I know Steve Kinser was 24 years old in 1978. I believe Buddy Kofoid will be 24 years old this year as well. So I'm not exactly sure of the months there, so I don't know if he would become the youngest or, second youngest, but either way, 24 years old, he is in position to win the World of Outlaws title this year. If you look at what he did in the second half of 2024, 6 of his 7 Outlaw wins came in September and October. He was outside the top 10 in just 5 of his last 21 starts. And in those 21 starts, 16 of them, he was in the top 5. That's exactly what you need to do to win the Outlaw title, but you need to do it year round. The team got off to, a shaky start, some DNFs early in the season, and they fell behind the 8 ball and were never really able to recover in the point standings. But, I think they could build off that momentum that they had at the end of last year, put together a complete season. And if they do that, they'll be right there with David Gravel, Carson Macedo. You can't rule out Donnie Schatz, but, I do think it's going to be Buddy Kofoid at the end of the year, shocking everyone as the World of Outlaws champion. So those are my 10 bold predictions. Let me know down in the comments, if you think I'm crazy or if you think something else crazy is going to happen this year. I want to hear from you. If you liked the video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and the season starts in a couple days. I'm excited, and we'll see you next time.